Your agency isn't managing your ROI, they're managing your retainer. And I can prove it, I've got the receipts, because in 14 years and $130 million in ad spend, I have never once had a client come to me whose previous agency ever asked them what their close rate was. Not once. They knew the cost per lead, they knew the CTR, they knew the quality score. They had no idea if the business was actually making money. A business owner came to me 6 months ago, $7,000 a month in ad spend. Leads coming in, decent volume, reasonable cost per lead. He'd been through 3 agencies in 2 years, and every one of them told him the same thing. The campaigns need more time. The targeting needs refining. Trust the process. And well, 6 months after his last agency, he paused the ads and he blamed everything on Google. When I got into the account, the campaigns were fine. Clean structure, sensible keywords, conversion tracking, firing correctly. Unusual, I know. The problem wasn't in Google Ads at all. The leads were going into a CRM that nobody was logging into. No automated follow-up, no SMS. The sales team was calling once and marking it as attempted. 12 months of leads rotting. 3 agencies, not one of them ever looked past the dashboard. And this is the thing that kills me about this industry, because agencies and PPC managers will spend hours arguing over match types, obsessing over quality score, debating bid strategies, while the client's leads are sitting in a CRM with no follow-up, going cold by the hour. The ads get the blame, the dashboard gets the attention, and the actual problem, the system behind the click, never gets touched. And guys, this is why businesses like yours end up on the agency merry-go-round. New agency, fresh start, fresh pitch deck, same results. Because nobody ever fixed the right thing. There is an order in doing this correct. And when the sequence is wrong, it doesn't matter how good your ads are. The traffic arrives and disappears. And do you know what the thing is, guys? Transparently, at the start of my career, I just fixed the ads and said nothing as well. I kept my head down. I did what I was paid to do. At some point, I stopped doing that. And I'll tell you exactly when and what it cost me to finally say something. As a top 1% Upwork freelancer in the PPC field, $130 million managed, I've seen this pattern at businesses of every size. And here's what all of it taught me. The most expensive mistake in Google Ads isn't even in Google Ads. It's launching campaigns before the business is ready to receive what they produce. That business that I mentioned at the start, their issue wasn't in Google Ads. It wasn't keywords, ad copy, or anything structurally at all. It was the fact that they had no dedicated landing page, no instant response to inquiries, and a salesperson that was relatively lazy and calling the next morning if they remembered. The Google Ads platform itself is just one piece of the puzzle. We paused those campaigns. We built a proper landing page around one offer, set up an automated SMS that fired the moment a form was submitted, added a nurture sequence for everyone who didn't convert in the first 48 hours. Same budget, same keywords. Cost per qualified lead dropped 60% in 6 weeks. The campaigns didn't change. The infrastructure around them did. And guys, again, full transparency. I made this exact mistake myself early in my career. I launched campaigns before the infrastructure was ready because the ads felt like the most important part. I've lost clients that I shouldn't ever have lost. Not because the campaigns failed, because the leads arrived and nobody caught them. It took me longer than I would like to admit to understand that Google Ads doesn't lose business. Broken systems do. Your landing page is not your website. Hear that again. Your landing page is not your website. It's a single page built for one offer. One call to action and nothing else. No navigation, no about page, no distractions. The average landing page converts at around 2%. A properly built one, like this, converts at around 8 to 10. That's the same budget producing 4 to 5 times the output before you've touched a single campaign set. The reason I'm creating this video around the Google Ads ecosystem and what's peripheral to it is because you're leaving revenue on the table. This is where I built We Are Static Buys differently from day one, using my experience. We get 800 leads a month, one sales rep. The moment somebody submits a form, an automated SMS fires instantly. 11 PM on a Sunday, Christmas Day, doesn't matter. By the time our rep picks up the phone, the lead knows who we are, what we offer, and they've decided that they're interested. The rep isn't selling, they're confirming. Most businesses are doing the complete opposite. They're waiting until the morning, calling once, moving on, wait until Monday for an inquiry that comes in on a Saturday. Contact rates drop off a cliff after the first 5 minutes. A competitor with a live SMS sequence at 11 PM has already won that deal before your office opens on Monday. It's crazy this isn't common practice, but here's the part that should really bother you. Every day that you run traffic without that infrastructure in place, you're not just losing leads, you're paying Google to train your audience to ignore you. Those people searched, clicked, and got no response or a slow one. They moved on. found a competitor. They're gone, and you paid for every single one of them. So guys, get the infrastructure built first, then launch, because when the traffic arrives, the system either catches it or it doesn't. And no campaign optimization in the world fixes a broken catch. Guys, I own multiple businesses, and before I go any further, I want you to be honest with yourself about something. Think about the last campaign that you launched, or the one that you're running right now. Does it or did it have dedicated landing pages, automated follow-ups, a validated offer, proper conversion tracking, a nurture sequence for leads that didn't convert? Drop a number in the comments out of 5. How many of those were actually in place before the campaign went live? Because I bet most people watching this are at either 2 or 3 and wondering why their ads aren't working. So now the infrastructure is live and we can launch. And this is where Google quietly starts spending your budget in ways that you haven't authorized. I had a client, home improvement, decent budget, multiple 5-figure budget, keen to get going when I spoke to them because they went live through an agency and the agency set everything up using Google's recommended campaign set. They were using broad match keywords, performance max switched on from day one, smart bidding with 12 conversions in the account, high CPCs, crazy stuff. 3 months in, $20,000 spent, 22 conversions. I pulled the search terms report. The campaign had been running on terms that had nothing to do with their service. Competitor job listings, informational queries, people researching prices with zero intent to buy. The agency had handed control to Google's AI on an account with no data. Google's AI did exactly what it's designed to do, spend the budget. That business didn't have the infrastructure set either, so I had to fix that. Once I'd done that, I built multiple campaigns. The tightest keyword set physically possible for that business, or the ones with the highest purchase intent that you can find. Exact and phrase match only. Manual bidding to start with. No performance max on a fresh account. No broad match. No recommended settings. Because Google's recommendations are designed to grow Google's revenue, not your businesses. And experienced PPC managers like me know this. The ones who live in the dashboard and never look beyond it don't. And they'll let the defaults run because the account looks busy and the client's not asking questions. If your agency has never once asked you what your close rate is or what your customer is worth over 12 months, they are not managing your business. They're managing your retainer. So guys, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. But as my followers will know, your first 30 days are not about results. They're about buying data. Give it 30 days before making any major calls. Once you've got 30 to 50 conversions through the account, then you can talk about smart bidding. Not before, unless you've tested it at the very launch. The first few weeks are about building a signal. Scale before you have one, and you're just funding Google's learning at your expense. So guys, the infrastructure's in place. We've got the campaigns built properly. Now most businesses either scale too early or they never scale at all. And both happen for exactly the same reason. They're looking at the wrong number. The signal to scale is not a good cost per lead. It's not a low CPC. It's not even a decent conversion rate. The signal to scale is, I know what a lead costs, I know what percentage close, and I know what a closed customer is worth. And those 3 numbers work together. If you're paying $50 a lead, converting 25% into customers, and a customer generates $1,200 over their lifetime, that's a model. You scale that aggressively. If you're paying $50 a lead and you don't know your close rate, you don't have a model. You have an activity report. Agencies who only look at the dashboard will tell you that your campaigns are performing perfectly fine because the cost per lead is fine. They'll never ask what happens to the leads. They'll never ask what the quality is like. They'll never ask what a customer is actually worth to the business. And that's the gap. And it's where businesses scale based on incomplete information and wonder why growth doesn't follow. My business We Are Static Buyers could only scale the way that it did to 800 leads and 1 rep because the infrastructure was already proven before we increased the budget. We knew our SMS qualification sequence. We knew our reps close rate. We knew the value of our customers. When we turned up the spend, we weren't guessing. We were multiplying something that was already working. So when your business is ready to scale on Google Ads, increase budget 20 to 30% at a time. Google's algorithm needs time to adjust. A sudden jump that's too high can destabilize your CPA overnight. And when the traffic scales, the system has to scale with it. More leads means more pressure on your automations, your follow-up sequences, and obviously your sales processes. I've watched businesses triple their ad spend and drown their own team in unworked leads because nobody built the back end to handle the volume. The ad scaled, the machine didn't. That's an avoidable disaster. Now guys, post-launch, and here's where campaigns go to die. And it's almost always the business's fault because they're measuring on last click attribution with a 30-day window. And that combination will make your best campaigns look like your worst. Last click gives all the credit to the final touch point before the conversion. But most customers touch your brand 6 to 20 times before they buy. That first Google Ads click, the one that introduced them to you, the one that started the whole journey, gets 0 credit. So it looks like a waste. so it gets paused. 3 months later, your pipeline quietly collapses because you switched off the thing that was starting every single customer relationship that you had. I had a B2B client last year convinced a brand awareness campaign wasn't working. 30-day window, nothing to show for it, ready to cut it. We extended the attribution window to 90 days and implemented some offline conversion tracking. That campaign alone had touched 19 of their last 23 closed deals. It wasn't the last click of any of them, but it was the first. Therefore making it the most important campaign in the account. It came within a week of being switched off. So how do you avoid that? Well, you measure on a window that matches how your customers actually buy. I've got clients that have conversion windows of a year, which means that it's impossible to track inside of Google Ads. You have to focus on offline conversion tracking and ensuring that CRM integration is in place. That's not Google's default. Look at the assisted conversions alongside last click so you understand what each campaign is actually contributing. It all depends on your own unique circumstances. But it's not cost per lead. Cost per acquired customer is what you're looking at, with close rate and lifetime value sitting next to it. A $60 lead that closes at 40% into a $500 service is worth a $200 margin. A $25 lead that closes at 8% and churns in 60 days is costing you money. The dashboard makes the second one look like a bargain. And then there's more, because there's the underused revenue in almost every business I've looked at. Your old leads, people who inquired 6, 9, 12 months ago. They showed interest. They went cold for whatever reason. But it doesn't stop there, because then there's the most underused revenue in almost every business that I have ever looked at. Your old leads. People who inquired 6, 9, 12 months ago. They showed significant interest. They went cold. For whatever reason, they went cold. But they were never contacted again. A reactivation campaign, email, SMS, retargeting. Back to those people with a fresh angle or a new offer. The trust building already happened. You're not starting from zero. Most businesses spend more every month acquiring new leads than they've ever spent re-engaging the thousands of warm contacts they're already sitting in their database. That's not a marketing strategy. That's a leaky bucket with a pressure washer pointed at it. That client at the start that I mentioned, the one who'd been through 3 agencies, we rebuilt his entire infrastructure, relaunched the campaigns, and guess what? Within 90 days, he had lowered his customer acquisition costs lower than he'd ever seen before, and a pipeline that was actually being worked. Same ads, same platform, completely different result. The businesses that win on paid traffic are not the ones with the best ads. They're the ones that are best at the systems that work around the ads. Most businesses will keep staring at a dashboard or staring at a report, switching agencies, blaming the platform. You're not most businesses anymore. As when I started this channel, my daughter gave me a clownfish. His name's Nemo. She told me with complete certainty that if I film with it nearby, I'd hit 10,000 subscribers. This is not a ploy to get you to subscribe, but she didn't say maybe. She didn't say I hope so. She just knew. That's exactly the energy you need to build this system. Not hope, certainty. You build the infrastructure because you already know the traffic is coming. You launch tight because you already know that you're going to scale it. You measure properly because you already know this is going to work. Nemo's been here from day one, and we will hit that 10K. So here's the rule. Build the systems before you spend a penny, launch tight with clean data, scale only when the numbers prove it works, and measure on what actually reflects how your customers buy, not what Google defaults to. That's it. 4 stages, in that order, every time. If you've enjoyed this video, go and watch this video here where it's a live build of a search campaign. It's back to basics, but it'll show you whether you're doing the right thing inside of your business or not. It's a multi-part series. Go and check it out. Like, subscribe. My name's Michael Elliott. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.